Hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing okay. So I just want to share my journey of depression and how I got out of it using a simple supplement because I know mental health is a major problem in the world right now and a lot of people are lost trying to find treatments for it. So that this could also help, and you'll see why later in the video, but may also help Alzheimer's, dementia, anxiety, not just depression, because I was going through some really bad depression and I wasn't sure why. So basically, I just want to give you my backstory on how it started. And basically, I quit smoking at the end of 2023. So it's been about 2.5 years or so since I've quit smoking. And it was all fun and games. I felt really motivated and excited about it for about 3 or 4 months. And then all of a sudden, I sunk into a really bad depression, and I wasn't sure why. I didn't think it was because of quitting smoking or anything like that. I thought it might have been just life changes or work related or relationship related, or just psychologically things had changed. So I went to psychologists, I went for counseling, and stuff like that, and they put me on SSRIs, depression medication. Tried that for a couple of months, or a couple of weeks to a couple of months, and it didn't work. And I really wanted to figure out why I was feeling this way, because I was feeling like really unmotivated, really bored all the time, and life, I kept on having these thoughts in my head, life is pointless, life is boring, what's the point of all of this? And I really wasn't myself. It really felt just a very different version of myself, because I used to get up in the morning fairly excited, fairly motivated. Not always, but I've always, my mood was very stable before this, and I used to wake up and just be able to get through life, and always didn't feel this like depression, but and I felt fairly motivated just to carry on and achieve goals and things like this. But now, I sunk into this hole where I felt really different and really low every day. So I decided to basically try some supplements, and I'll just show you the supplement list, or the supplement, the basket of supplements that I tried, and actually none of them worked. But I'll just scare you quickly because you might also be buying supplements and trying different forms of therapy, and none of them are working. So I'll just show you what I bought. So this is my supplement basket. These are just some of the supplements that I tried. I tried activated B complex, L-tyrosine, magnesium, detox cleansers, combinations of zinc, B6, magnesium. I tried ginkgo. I tried superior calcium, just testosterone supplements, creatine. I tried lithium orotate. Tried vitamin B1, another form of magnesium. Tried probiotics. I tried fish oils. I even bought these, multivitamins and all that stuff, right? And basically none of all of this worked. It helped a little bit, but it didn't work. So basically it really felt like my dopamine levels were like really, really low. And I wanted, as I said, I tried L-tyrosine, because that apparently brings up your dopamine, and none of that worked. Tried 5-HTP, just a whole range of supplements. I tried alternate forms of therapy, like cold showers. I tried exercising more. Tried a whole bunch of different stuff, like changing my diet. I tried going gluten-free. I tried going dairy-free. I tried drinking lots of water, and that actually helped a little bit. That's something that I still push myself to do, which is really important, staying hydrated, because I feel my mood really improves with that. But basically I started to, just out of the blue, I started to think like, I quit smoking, and I had remembered that I quit smoking, and I started to research into nicotine and, quitting nicotine, and if that may have affected my mental health, because this was now, I was already a year, about 18 months, about a year and a half into quitting smoking, and this is, things were like really getting dark, and my depression was really, really bad. And so I started researching into nicotine, and came across, this thing where it said nicotine, it boosts your dopamine levels, and it sort of gives you a nice sort of mental boost every day, especially when you're smoking or vaping. You'll find that the nicotine, it does actually, by theory or by its chemical makeup, basically, I'm not a scientist, but the nicotine will basically increase your dopamine levels, because we have nicotine receptors in our brain and in our body, or mainly in our brain. And even in the olden days, ancient times, people used to chew on nicotine, and it used to give them like a bit of a mental boost, a bit of a mood boost, a bit of mental clarity and energy. So I finally decided after 2 years to try and just bring nicotine back into my system. So I remembered that, here in New Zealand and some certain countries will actually give you nicotine patches and gums for free. By, the government will just supply it as just as a way to push people to quit smoking and better their health, right? Or vaping. So I went to the chemist and I got a free nicotine patch, and I got free gums, and I thought, let me just give this a go, because nothing else is working. So basically I'll show you what they gave me. I'll just show you what I'm taking. So this is the patch. This is the lowest dose patch. It's a 7 milligram patch that you put on your arm or anywhere in your body, but I put it on my upper arm, and it slowly releases nicotine into your system over a 24-hour period. Okay, and I also take these nicotine gums. These are chewable nicotine gums. Now I could probably feel okay just with taking the patch, but I like to take the gums as well, just for an extra bit of a kick. I'll just, on my arm where I put it, you can see over here, this is where I put the nicotine patch. And I normally put it on just after I take a nice shower in the morning, and then I put it on. And the reason I'm saying this is because today I forgot to put the patch on in the morning, and I felt that my mood and my mentality and my general, just my psychology for the day just shifted, and I felt like really depressed and started to get those like weird, dark sort of thoughts again, and just felt very, just unmotivated and bored again. And so, I put the patch on, and this is the first time that I'd not put it on in months. And I noticed, like, okay, this is what I've done today, and let me put this patch back on. So that I put this patch back on about 20 minutes ago, and I thought, what, this is the first time that I've felt like this in ages. And it reminded me to actually make this video, to actually create awareness that if you have quit smoking or vaping, and because I smoked for like 20 years, so that's, you must remember, that's 20 years of nicotine being fed into your system. And I used to smoke a packet a day or more, which is like 20 cigarettes a day. And for you to just quit cold turkey and not have any nicotine running through your system, and now you're not getting that's you can do your research in Google. It boosts your dopamine levels, and it really affects your dopamine levels, and it increases your dopamine levels when you feed nicotine into your system, either through smoking or through a patch or any form of feed of nicotine into your system. It's going to give you a dopamine kick, and it's going to, the nicotine gives you an energy kick and a dopamine kick. So if your baseline levels have dropped drastically because you've quit smoking or quit vaping, if your baseline levels are just really low now, and they used to be at a certain level at baseline or above through the vaping or cigarettes, that's pretty dangerous. So I would advise you, if you have quit smoking or vaping or whatever it is, and you feel, or you're just depressed and nothing's working for you, you have anxiety, or maybe some dark thoughts or whatever, maybe just try a nicotine patch. Because from what I've read, it actually can help with dementia, with Alzheimer's. It's actually, even some other stomach issues like digestion problems and things like that, like not pancreas problems, but like it can help with like arthritis and liver function and all these things. So there's a lot that nicotine can actually help in your body, but it's mainly gonna give you a mental boost, and give you that dopamine feed back into your brain, so that it's really going to help psychological issues, so it may even help bipolar and these sort of things, or mood regulation issues. So if you haven't tried a nicotine patch, I would say go on I'm quite a small guy, so I use the 7 milligram patch, but you do get the 14 milligram and then the 21 milligram patch. But for me, I'm just happy taking the lowest dose, because I don't want too much nicotine. I don't want to take a heavy dose nicotine patch my whole life. So yeah, guys, I'm just creating awareness. I really felt the nicotine patches help, clear up a lot of my, mood dysregulation, and it's helped boost that. And it's literally been like a lifesaver. So just give it a go, guys. See if you've been a smoker or a vapor, or you've been getting nicotine some other way, and now you've just quit cold turkey. You need to get that back into your system in a safe way. So a nicotine patch and gums are probably the safest way for you to do it. If your country doesn't give it out for free, just buy a pack of patches and just start with a patch. You need to be on the patch. The gums won't be enough. You need to have that steady 24-hour flow of nicotine coming into your system. So yeah, guys, leave a comment. Let me know if this has helped. And I'm glad I put this video out just to help a few people out there, because it's difficult when you're going through these mental changes and you don't know what's going on until you try crazy things like this and they work. So yeah, guys, cheers.